Hello, toy friends. Welcome back. I'm Will. That's
Welcome.
Bob. And with us today is Tim from Giant Leap Toys, and we're talking nukes. So, without further ado, um, well, actually, let's say hi to the chat first, right? And then we'll jump right into this. We've got Ian today, Mana. Johnny saying these guys graduated from Nukem High. Yeah, we'll get into that. Bubba Hicks saying, "Nuke me, baby."
Baby.
Bjorn with a Schmodulok. Crash trolling us. On this day, we celebrate 112 Scout.
Oh,
Listen, like what you
Crash.
like, you troll. All right. Lord of Darkness, maybe. Zinger. All right. Let's see here. Who else? We got, Nukes. It's on the block. All right. And we've got Gojitron saying good afternoon. Crash, now just saying hi. Okay. So Bjorn, and I think that's everyone. Nolan, what's happening, brother? All right.
Yeah.
So we said hi to everyone. Everyone else, you're late, so we're not going to say hi to you.
Until later.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the show. I appreciate you coming on today.
Thanks so much for having me. Yeah.
Zema Rogue will make an exception for you, buddy. He just made it. But anyway, so yeah, tell us a little bit something about yourself there. Giant Leap Toys. Those that remember that back, I don't know, wasn't in 2024, but we discussed the Eagle when it was coming out. We did a little show on it. I didn't reach out to you. I just covered it because I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
And so congratulations on that. That's successfully funded.
Yeah.
That was a successful Kickstarter. And was that your first foray into toy making, or?
Well, actually, no. I probably got into. I've been a illustrator, graphic designer for the majority of my career, and I got into toy design. I was at Toy Fair in New York. It was probably around 2002, and I was just going around with my portfolio, and I met a couple of gentlemen from Hong Kong that represented toy companies there, and they were looking to kind of westernize their toy lines. And they liked what I had in my portfolio. So I started working with them, taking kind of their existing toy line of like firefighter figures, police figures, astronaut, stuff like that. And was working on new deco, new potential new mold designs and stuff like that. They were kind of more of a mid-tier kind of toy company, so there was not a lot of investment going into.
Are we talking like Chapmay, kind of like a company like that, or M&C Toy Company?
In that line, but they were also more broadly diverse, where they were doing like from baby to
sure, okay,
almost like preteen kind of stuff. So I will say a lot of water gun, squirt gun stuff.
Yeah.
So I was doing like super futuristic, Buck Rogeries kind of stuff, and then I was also doing like little dolphins that were out there blowhole and stuff. But yeah, so that's kind of where it all started, and then over time, I just started to wonder about the independent toy market, because so much was starting to happen with people out there just striking out and doing their own thing, art toys and stuff like that. So I think it was in like 2013, I started Secret Lab Toys, where I was doing vinyl figures and kind of putting something out there that I felt was a little beefier than like a Funko Pop, that had a little bit more of a more impressive shelf presence to it. And got licensing with Captain Action through that, got licensing with Valiant Comics, and we did Exo Man of War and Bloodshot. And that was really successful for a couple of years. And then the factory that I was working with, they came to me and they said, well, Funko has locked us up for the next 4 years. So we can still work with you if you would, cough up some money. And I was like, well, I don't have Funko money. I don't have that. So that kind of ended up fizzling out. The thing was, it was going to cost me so much to take my molds from there, to transfer my molds, to find a factory that would work with the existing molds. So there was a lot of eggs in one basket kind of thing that happened with. So after that, I still freelanced a few toy projects here and there, and then, like I mentioned, Craig Owens from Zyka Toys and I were exhibiting down at PowerCon in Columbus, Ohio. Probably was like 2023 or whatever. And I was working on bringing back a 24-inch Shogun Force, Shogun Warrior robot. And I had named mine Shogun Force and had put that out on Kickstarter. It was going to be an expensive bite, but it didn't go over well, but I got a lot of positive comments out of it. And, and the thing was overall, price concern from people. And it was like my first foray into it, which, I absolutely understand that makes people nervous, trusting their money with somebody else. So that led into the conversation with Craig about the Eagle. And I had contacts that were able to put us in touch with Anderson Entertainment and ITV over in London. And we inquired about it, and they loved our pitch, and they went full force with it. So our third pre-production sample is going to be arriving here at the end of the month. We've had a little bit of a calendar setback with some of the mold changes that we've needed to make, but we want to make sure that we get one of the better products out there. We want this to be like a truly prized collectible, especially with it being the 50th anniversary.
That's great, and that was no easy task. So to start off with such an ambitious project, and so that's pretty impressive.
We have 3 3/4-inch O-rings, astronaut.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great.
And it's a 4-pack order.
Yeah, that kind of sealed the deal for me. Like, I got to get off my duff, and I've got to go ahead and get this project because our samples, our prototypes turned out so nice. I'm like, the production on this is just going to be supreme. It's really good.
All right. Well, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. That's a great little history, and it's glad to know it. I do have just a couple of quick things to get into before we talk nukes. Just want to thank you to our channel members. Without you guys, none of this would be possible. So thank you. Thank you. If you'd like to be a channel member, you can be one also. There's links all around, and it's appreciated, not necessary. Also, I wouldn't be me if I didn't shill for my buddies over at Delta 17. Just so you know, all of the Joe Fest exclusives, the 2-pack, the weapons pack, and the Hellstorm unit, both blue and gray, are available at delta17toys.com. And that 10% off for buying 3 or more is still in effect. So go right ahead and get those if you haven't already.
And those Hellstorms, if you're not into O-rings, those Hellstorm units do go well with like modern construction figures too.
They do, yeah.
Just saying.
Quality stuff. And in other O-ring news, I know I was supposed to mention this on the show last week, and I kind of missed out on this, but Heavy Armor Toys is currently running their Kickstarter for their new International Freedom Force figures. These look really cool. You've got the SAS Commando, which looks that's the one that's like a must-have for me. You've got the Australian, what do they call them? I forget.
I forget.
I think I had it up here. I forget.
It's like some sort of Australian special.
Yeah, it's the Australian, and then the airborne medic, right? He's like a medic.
Yeah, the pararescue.
Pararescue, and then I
think that's supposed to be just a villain, just a generic.
He's just generic
villain trooper. Yeah.
Great, and they have some stretch goals and some other stuff in there. But that Kickstarter is currently going. I've never reached out to the guy. I don't know if he'd come on and talk to us about it, but it was one that flew under my radar, just kind of like nukes too. you know, we started seeing stuff around. You weren't at Joe
Mhm.
Fest, were you? No.
No, I had tried to make it down, but didn't get there.
Okay, because we were there, and there was so much going around that time, and then
Oh yeah.
it started popping up, and I was like, seeing people share it, and I was like, what is this? What is going on over here? And I gotta say, this is a 90s inspired O-ring toy line, something the likes we've never seen.
Yeah,
And
very different from your GI Joe counterparts. Yeah.
I really love a good acronym. So NEO, Urban Combat Enforcement Squads, is really cool. I don't know about you, but I feel like we've all kind of imagined this scenario when we were growing up in the 90s, like, like what it would be like. Cause the post-apocalypse, apocalypse was just something that was going to happen. It wasn't like if it could happen. We were all
Right.
planning for this,
A lot of dystopian pop culture at the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, all that
So,
80s Cold War. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you follow them over, so there's links, in the description. Follow Nukes or Giant Leap Toys on Facebook and Instagram, and winners are going to be announced every Sunday. You could win one of these awesome Nukes t-shirts. All you got to do is like their posts and share them, guys, and you could win.
Yep.
So it's the person with the most shares each week. Is that right, Tim?
That's correct. Yeah. And you guys were tops this week, so it'll be coming your way.
That's awesome. I can't wait, man. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And and no, you don't have to have a podcast. You don't have to, you don't have to have an ad agency or anything like that. Like you mentioned, I'd rather do this organically, and let's see if I can avoid paying Zuckerberg any money for advertising or whatever. I'd rather give t-shirts to the fans. So yeah, if they can just go ahead and like and share's the key thing, get some exposure for it. And whoever's got the highest clicks at the end of the week, t-shirts coming your way.
Awesome.
Excellent. So yeah, Zaymont Rogue. Oh, are these named after cities? Yes. So Tim, maybe you could elaborate on that before we go into the teams.
Sure. Well, so the kind of the background of the N.U.K.E.S, if you will. So there has been an event. We're not 100% what caused the event, but there is nuclear armament involved, right? So we're 30 years past the event, and all these, if you will, city states are starting to, they've been rebuilding themselves over the decades. So yes, we have different factions, different territories. So for instance, this is what was known as New York, but is now Neo-York. And so N.U.K.E.S, N-Y-C-E, is Neo-York Command Enforcement. And so these would be the 4 key members from that. And then we have the other ones that we'll subsequently show here as well. But yes, I'm using kind of real world locations to build off of this, and try to make kind of that emotional attachment to, oh my God, I love New York, and I love dystopian futures, and I love freaking
Zaymont already calling out the Chicago. Yep, we'll get to it. So yeah,
it's coming.
Yeah. Chicago mob, mean old bastards. Yeah.
And I love that there's acronyms for some of these teams as well. So
I am beating it to death. I can't get away from it.
Love those.
Well, that's the way to go. Either lean in hard or just
And so what we have today to show you is kind of what's just been revealed in social media. And then Tim, if you want to, and there might be a couple of figures that have not quite reached out yet. We'll show them in a little bit. And, you're welcome to reveal everything exclusively here on the show, but you don't have to, of course not. But we'll go through each figure. And if you could just tell us a little bit about them and, what went into designing them.
Yeah. So one of the things that ended up, I've kind of had this concept around for years. And one of the things that kind of solidified this for me was a cosplayer. that I saw that had taken license plates and had made armor out of license plates. Yeah. And I was like, that is like out there. So different, very diesel punk, very kind of different vibe happening. And so I just kind of locked that away. Right. Well, when I came around to deciding, like I love the neon, look to toys. There's just something about that kind of generates excitement, the kid in me. And then when I wanted to tie all this armor together, it was just kind of like, oh yeah, man, street sign shields, street sign weapons, parking meter hammers and fire hydrant hammers and, all this other stuff. So with the rebuilding of society, there are some advanced weapons, but they're not as readily available, right? I mean, there are some guns and things like that. But with everything being wiped out, they're kind of back to square one. So this is a kind of very for all intents and purposes, a caveman approach to using what you find in an urban surrounding to weaponize and to help, protect your territory with.
Yeah, that's great. So
so this is Nick, based off of Knickerbocker. And, I try to lean in territorially, with things from New York and things from Chicago and things from Detroit. And so kind of the references of the characters' names and things always kind of tie back to the territory that they're representing, their faction. So
you'll see that with and these factions, there's many of them.
Yes.
They're not all necessarily, or they're like, good guys or bad guys. They're kind of just more, some work together, some work against each other, but they're all kind of just for their area, I guess, or their geographical region more so than, on one side or the other.
Right. Exactly right. It's a very gray area that we're dealing with, right? So we're talking about mankind, we're talking about survival and rebuilding. And so it's one of those things that, Detroit and Chicago may have a great alliance going on, but New York may have done something that Detroit wasn't too happy about, right? So Chicago's kind of like, those guys are sketchy over there, So I mean, not unlike real life, how we all feel like, like, oh my God, I can't imagine being in New York. I hate New York. But you talk to other people and they're like, oh my God, New York is the best city ever.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing. The only true outstanding enemy that they all confront are the fallen.
Okay.
And I just revealed the last of the fallen today,
which is my favorite. But we'll get to him. We'll get to him.
I saw your reaction. I was like, awesome. Yeah. But yeah, so I've really tried to be deliberate about how I'm approaching the development of these teams, naming these teams, giving them their.
So Nick might be the one that probably wasn't as obvious to everyone, but I think when we get to like Flatiron, definitely, 100% people could, see where that one came from. And some of the other names are much more, like Wrigley, I think is one, or, where he's like 100%, where it's coming from.
But, where it's coming from for sure. Yeah. And so, Flatiron for the longest time, he was Bronx, but, but the more that I thought about him, his weapon, and, he's got a fire hydrant hammer.
Yeah.
And so, he flattens things. He just, crushes everything. So I was like, Flatiron, that's gotta be what it is. So
that's great.
Again, just trying to make these things as diverse as possible. So I'm trying to cover, territories. I'm trying to cover race. I'm trying to cover genders, and just really, make it a broad spectrum as possible.
Yeah. And, some of these factions are like, I guess, protectors of the realm, while others are kind of, they control things. They're the muscle. They're running the place. Because I guess, in Red Hook, I love this guy. He's great. Yeah. So I see some of it's like scrappy, like, they've got salvaged or scavenged kind of shields and armor pieces, but then we also see some high tech stuff here, some advanced technology. So Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, again, it's one of those things where they're in the process of rebuilding, and so this potentially could have been before the burn, before the event happened. This could have been an AI robot.
Okay.
That somehow has gotten to a point where it's meshed himself with a human body or something like that, or maybe it's a human with an implant or something. I have the umbrella pieces of this world, but I kind of intentionally keep it very loose, because I don't want it to be one of those things that I'm imposing what I want this world to be on people.
I like that. I really do, because then really, it's your imagination is the only limit. Some of the worst things that were ever done were where they went back and revealed people's secret origins, the unknown secret origin. It never lived up to what we imagined. So let's keep some stuff a mystery. I love it. Yeah.
I mean,
very
100%
people approach.
Yeah. 100%. My hot take on that is Boba Fett. Had Boba Fett just remained a character in the shadows, and you never got any deeper than he was just a bad MFer, then he would have been golden throughout the ages. That's that. I mean, that with what was it like? I mean, just a total of like maybe not even a minute full screen time or whatever.
Well, he was infamous.
He just became like one of the hottest things out there. So,
and that's pretty cool. And then you do have Bronx. Yep. And he's just a little different. And like I said, will these like include some kind of like roster or like file card or kind of just a bio on each one?
So we're still at this very beginning stage with it, and again, we're leaning heavy into the 90s thing. We love our GI Joes and stuff. So we're gonna have to incorporate that in some way, shape, or form. If it's not cutting it off of the back of the card, which that's my big struggle is cutting that up. How do we work on incorporating that in under the bubble, and give people a trading card to go with their stuff.
So we look at so this was the New York team, and we just see what's been revealed now has just been kind of geographical or city, state, area, and 4 characters. You did mention to me that may not be limited to just 4. These could be expanded on, but to start, this is what is coming around, right?
Right. So what we're shooting for with this this initial Kickstarter is we'll have wave 1, and we put a lot of thought into this, but this seemed to be the most diplomatic way to put the toys out there. So we have 6 different factions that we'll be producing, and each one of those factions has 4 characters in it. So that's a total of 24 figures. So wave 1 will be 1 from each of the factions that we're creating. So you'll get a figure from New York, you'll get a figure from Chicago, you'll get a figure from, Detroit. And the reason that we're taking that approach with it is, because of some of those people out there who are just kind of, I'm never going to make everybody happy, right? But there are people out there who don't give 2 flips about Chicago, but man, they want Detroit, and they got to have Detroit. Well, all of a sudden, the whole universe of these characters kind of starts to dissolve if you're not taking more of a completist view of it, right? So wave 1 will be 6 characters, 1 from each faction. Wave 2, 6 characters, 1 from each faction.
And, I like it.
And that's how we'll roll it out. And then eventually, if we are successful in growing this and hopefully it becomes something, then, there's always other regions of the country that we haven't covered yet. There's always international. So I think one of you had mentioned like be awesome to have like some kaiju fighters or something.
Yeah. And then here's some of the weapons. And, one of the things I've always wanted to see, and this is just going back to like my own, like I said, we all imagine scenarios, but I always thought like a stop sign would make a really cool battle axe, like if you kind of just cut in on the edges and sharpen them up, that would be a lot of fun. But I love what you did with them. And we have famously, there's the Dreadnought Road Pig from GI Joe that had a cinder block on a stick, and even as a kid, I was like, I mean, yeah, devastating to be hit with it, but it wouldn't last very long because those are not meant for that kind of. He would be better off with anything else on the end of that stick, probably.
Maybe he's got like a closet back at Dreadnought.
Yeah.
It's just full of cinder block hammers.
Yeah, because that would shatter, on the first hit. But the fire hydrant, man, that is, and it's outrageous because if you've ever tried to lift one of them, like they're heavy, man. Yeah. Like, you got to be massive to pick one of those up and swing it, but I love it because it's extreme. It's 90s. That is great. So
the jagged street sign sword with the knuckles or the studded guard on it.
Yeah, that's
the machete. Yep.
And that is great. So now we get into the Chicago mob, the mean old bastards.
Old bastards. And so within that universe too, there's kind of, so like Chicago is essentially called Chicagon, because it's gone. There's nothing there, and Detroit, you'll see it on the Detroit slides. It's Detroit, because it's just dead. There's nothing. Yeah. There's nothing to the territory. So
you've got O'Hare.
And so you can see like the star around his eye, kind of a nod to Cable, one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
But that's also the star off of the Chicago flag. And then he's got the Chicago flag on his armament on his arm.
And Capone. I mean, infamous. Yeah. So she must. That
was a cool chick name. She's a gangster. Yeah. She's totally.
Yeah. She's got to be running stuff, right?
Yeah.
So that's great. One of this guy, Whacker, is a favorite of all the people that Dude, skulls are cool. They're cool.
They got a lot. Yeah. And so this is one that again, a lot of things will have to be worked out in the final details. But if this can be a glow in the dark figure, we're going to have.
Yes, if that's doable, and it wouldn't blow your budget or anything, and definitely go that way because that would be rad. And not to mention the small details on the sculpts too. The signs, the armor, the wrist, the wrist guards, shoulder guards, and all the little spikes. Perfect 90s. It's great. Yeah, they really fit in there. I love it.
Yeah, Image Comics, huge influence for the design of these, without a doubt.
And and Wrigley also, I see the inspiration from the 90s here too, right? This is very Forge, right? Is it from the X-Men? Or
Bishop.
Or Bishop. I'm sorry. Not Bishop. Yep, I was wrong. I misspoke. But very Bishop. Yeah.
But with a name like Wrigley, of course he's going to have, a baseball bat with razor wire around it. So,
of course. Yeah. That's excellent. And what's the name that Rogue saying here? Come up with a character named LSD. I'm sure you come up with a great acronym for that. Okay. And Kiss would be in the Detroit Rock City group. Okay, sure.
Absolutely. In fact, I used Detroit Rock City it's the background music of one of the posts. So,
nice.
Yeah, off of the Destroyer album, which is fantastic.
Yeah, so we've got the Chicago Mob, and then we take a commercial break here for a little a little mock-up I wanted to show in between teams, and remind you all to save your coupons and get a N.U.K.E.S Lunchables figure. That's great. That was a great little mock-up, and
Thanks.
Just for disclosure, on the post it did say, imagine you were back in the 90s, you're having lunch, and you open it up and they tell you, mail in this certificate and however many proofs of purchase to get your own N.U.K.E.S figure. You'd be trading them with your friends at the lunchroom table. This would be freaking awesome. And
when I mentioned the Shogun Force reintroduction of that. And so as I was doing that, I went on this whole tear of just doing old Mego toy ads that, had Shogun Force characters to it. And, it was an animated series, and it was on clothing and everything. My work history comes out of licensing. I worked on, in the 80s, I worked on anything and everything. If it was on kids apparel or pajamas, I worked on it. And one of my favorites was Mask.
Yeah.
And so that's playing into this too. Mobile Armor Strike Command, it's absolutely 100% an influence on what I'm doing with N.U.K.E.S for sure.
So we have the next. These are the Detroit guys, right? Okay.
Yeah. This is steel. This is hold on, I got it written down. Because
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Detroit Steels, Strike Team Extreme Enemy Lockdown.
Nice.
Thanks.
And
retread.
Mm-hmm.
You got
retread armor.
Just Demolition Man. Just
perfect.
Just so good. Wesley Snipes and his armor, the tire, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta give a nod to that. But just the old welder's helmet, the tire, whatever's found.
Motorhead, another one that is just going to be a favorite, because just look at him. He just looks mean,
Again, Skulls Rock. I mean,
yeah. And again, here, it's one of those things that I have a loose kind of idea in my mind what his backstory is, but I hesitate, at least at this point right now, to put out anything officially, because I think, let the customer have their imagination and run with it. So.
And you have Dodge. He looks cool.
So
he looks like he's got a little bit of that cybernetic kind of enhancement going on there. So.
Yeah, he's got some implants and stuff. And if you look really closely at his mohawk, it's coax. It's all cables.
Ah, very cool. Yeah. I like it.
So one quick question. I noticed like a lot of these guys, I know these are just like the kind of mock-up pictures, but a lot of them have like the gritting or grit showing their teeth face. Is that going to be in the final production, or are you going to go with more neutral expression?
I'm probably going to balance it out a little bit more. I think as I was designing these, I was, really, in that moment.
Right.
So I've got some, but you're absolutely right, and that's a valid edit. What you're seeing is very early preliminary concept.
Oh,
yeah. So, a lot of this will change, be in flux until we get to production. So valid input, and I appreciate it.
Yeah,
not a problem.
I was getting remember Johnny Mnemonic vibes from the 90s, right? Keanu Reeves, with the little wires. Was it cybernetic Jesus, played by Dolph Lundgren?
Right.
He was like,
I forgot about that.
Yeah. He was a wild character. I love the helmet on this guy. He just looks really cool. Scrapyard,
Scrapyard.
Love his look. And that's the Detroit Steel.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. And once again, commercial break. There's your tease, and then we get to the Fallen, which I mean, wow, these guys just blew me away. They all look just wicked. Joe Hunter saying, "Hey everyone, I have to play catch up." Yeah, that's what the replay's for, buddy. Thank you. Yep, I understand. Yeah, I mean, so in the description it said, some people survived, what happened, and other people were mutated beyond, recognition. So these are not just, they're suiting up with stuff. Some of these guys just are the Fallen
stuff.
They're mutants. They're just out to, they don't care about who or what they raid. They're just out there to wreak havoc. So
well, so in again, in kind of my broader canon, the nukes are enhanced somewhat. They have, I'm not going to say they're superhuman, but they have capabilities and abilities that the burn brought out different different powers for them. These are the ones who the burn when the nuclear Holocaust happened, things didn't go so well, right? So they're enhanced, but they're a little off their nut at the same time too. So
yeah, this guy's got
makes them
three
kind
eyes.
of fierce and makes them kind of feral.
Yeah, he's got spikes growing out of him, and we don't
So
know what's
third
going
eye
on
on his
underneath the
forehead.
mask. Yeah, that is a third eye, right?
Third eye.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, and then we have Ash.
Ash.
Little powder reference. Does he have electrical power? No, I'm kidding. Remember powder?
No, but let the black ooze on his hands be some sort of,
okay. Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
yeah. But Planet of the Apes, second, Beyond the Planet of the Apes, the mutants underground, Battle Beyond the Stars, the albino aliens, and that. I've just always loved that kind of look. And I was like, for the longest time he was going to be a good guy. And I was like, no, he's just going to have to go the bad route. But I was as simple as it is, I was really pleased with the design, how this turned out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Slang, Zaymont saying my hometown pride is a little hurt. I think the Fallen are my favorites. Yeah, those bad guys always look really cool. I mean, I usually root for the good guys, but I just always say they always do look cool. Slag is really cool. Yeah, actually. And hi, Brian. Outer Multiverse, which tonight at 7 they will have Joel
Starboy
from
Station.
Starboy Station on talking world building. So yeah, very cool. And next week, Joel will be joining us to talk about world building. So I think Joel's talking about his toy room update and some stuff today, right, Bob?
Yes, that, and also starting to let people know about Figtober coming up.
That's
this October.
Right. Figtober is coming up. Yep. So yeah.
So get your customs ready.
So definitely loving what we're seeing here. Bex, she looks mean, and she's got something going on there too with that green, right? And
yeah. So again, who knows what powers have been revealed and what they've been exposed to over these decades of trying to get the world back to normal. And so obviously she's been exposed to something that hasn't fully taken over her, but is definitely
her eyes too,
on,
right?
Yeah.
She's got two different color eyes. And
she still has some flesh tone happening, but something with that green is going to work on her for sure. So there may be a battle of the wills that happens with Vex a lot.
And my boy right here, Dreg, he's my favorite. I'm a sucker for these guys. I love them. Love the mutants. 4 arms. I mean, more arms are just more better. And I love that helmet he's wearing. He's like part Frankenstein, part Goro. He's excellent. I love it. And, going back to that, I think Scotty mentioned when we first showed the 4 was, how is that going to work? How is the 4 arms going to work in real life? And is that going to be a challenge?
So, the thing is, I have seen other figures out there that are in the 3 3/4 that have this done. And fortunately, the factory that I'm going to be working with, they have produced a 4-arm.
Strike Force Alpha has the Canstruck figure, which is one of my favorites. I think he's on my desk somewhere. I don't know. I can't find him, but yeah, he's awesome. I love him.
Because when he was originally, for the longest time, just a 2-arm character, and I was like, there was just something about him. I wanted to make him 4. And so my good friend Craig Owen at Zyka Toys, I talked with him and he said, yeah, let's get in touch with the factory. And the factory was like, absolutely, we can do that. And so we're good. Yeah, we're covered. He'll be a little beefier. He'll be a little thicker than the others.
Sure.
Accommodate it, but yeah, it'll be there.
Yeah, let me ask you. So some of the other lines, like I know Operation Recall is utilizing this method, and Delta 17 already did it, where a couple of the characters are lot of them are 3.75, and then some of them are 4-inch. So they have a slightly, and then, a couple of them have a wider kind of torso and a larger buck. Are we going to see that kind of height differences, or, different proportions or body styles with this line?
There'll be some differences with the height, but not dramatic, right? So
Sure.
instead of 3.75, they may end up being like 3.79 or 0.8,
Okay.
or something like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's just going to depend on if they're wearing a helmet. What are they?
Right.
Gotcha.
Stuff like that.
And
I'm
traditional.
trying to keep this is my first venture into doing the 3 3/4 figures, right?
Okay.
So I wanted to stay as consistent as possible in this first learning curve of things. But having said that, and like I mentioned earlier, there's the broader world of the N.U.K.E.S that could have bigger, badder, characters in it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because
And,
as long as it jived with everybody who is a fan and is supporting it. If a figure went up to 4 inches, if a figure went up to a little over 4 inches, is that fine with them? Because I don't want to. I want to try and respect everybody's standpoint from, I've been in this 3 3/4 inch O-ring for how many ever decades, and I don't want to deviate. I want to stay right here. This is my sweet spot.
What about,
so
I'd say
I'm gonna respect them.
The other kind of innovations were like the swivel wrist is really convenient and really a nice addition.
Right. And so I'm gonna flex on that a little bit too, because we're trying to pay homage to what 80s and 90s Joes were doing and everything. They evolved, right? So to have the swivel arm, to have the swivel hand and stuff like that, I think is something that I can still pay tribute to what was true about the 90s, but I can update it in that way that when they want to pose the character, when they want to have him holding the weapons or her holding the weapons or the shield or whatever, that they have the versatility of that.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So, that's just 4 teams now.
4 teams
that we've seen,
More
and
to
there's
go.
a lot more coming. So, once again, the Kickstarter is planned for late September. Is that right?
Late September. I'm going to kick it off the weekend of Jolanta.
Okay.
Okay.
Fantastic. Yeah. So you see, now you did share with me, Dreg should be a larger figure to emphasize his beastly status. Yeah, good feedback. Yeah, that's good.
Not bad.
Yeah. And Goro was a bit larger to allow for the forearms. Sure, that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, I even think the construct that you were mentioning earlier is a little bit taller.
Yeah, he might be. I don't remember exactly. Now I know like Strike Force Alpha had the pop and swap on the under the knee, from the knee down. They had it on the forearms, and that's what they're doing, and that's for their customizing. So when I was talking about just enhancements, like I think the wrist is like a good kind of just like an easy one that you could add in there, and it doesn't. Now you look at like World War Hell, where they went with ankles, wrists, plus overlays, and that's also the cost has risen with all of those innovations too. So there's definitely balance in between there, and I think the true O-ring fan understands that, and they're fine with that. Charles Robinson, how you doing, buddy? He's saying O'Hare, Capone, Dodge, top 3, doing some of the figures in 4-inch scale is a great idea. Well, there you go.
That's good to know. Thank you so much. Yeah.
So, we saw the teams and we saw the figures, and you were nice enough to send me some kind of a little more advanced product shots here coming up next, where we're going to actually see them kind of. It's still a digital render, but you're going to see some of the accessories that you're planning on giving with these figures. And there's a couple figures in here that have never been shown before, which will give us a clue as to some of the other regions that may be being revealed shortly. So thank you for that, Tim. And
no problem.
Yeah, now you can see the scale of that fire hydrant
it's huge.
base or battle hammer. which I cleverly I stole for the thumbnail too. If you noticed, I'm holding it because it's the coolest thing
I
ever.
saw your
So,
little, I saw your
yeah,
little guy with it. Yeah.
yeah, I threw them in there. So the signed shields, and it looks like that's a lot of them are coming with that, which I like. But these are not just melee weapons. You have firearms as well.
Yeah.
So we got pew pews. This guy's got an Uzi, which is so 90s, perfect.
So 90s, right?
Yeah. Yeah, spoilers. Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
And yeah, so what can you tell me about like the accessories, like how you're handling that with each one? Do they have like a specialty, or you're kind of wanting to give each one of them a shield and like a weapon or a gun plus a melee weapon? Like they all kind of have that coming, right?
I mean, that's it exactly. So, like I said, there is some hard to come by advanced weaponry that's out there. I was originally it was going to be flat iron, fire hydrant hammer, area closed shield, and that was going to be it. And the more I thought about it, I was like, these guys just, it's so commonplace that you got to have an armory with them. You've got to have guns, you got to have a missile launcher, you got to have a bazooka, machine guns, Uzi, 50 caliber, whatever. So it's, as of right now, it's like one of those things of like, okay, as a placeholder, everybody's at least going to have a pistol and an Uzi.
Okay.
We're going to include that. Now, again, whether in their display and their playing with it or however they want to use it, it's up to the customer. If they like it, keep it. If they don't, get rid of it. My question is, and if there's some people viewing who want to respond to this, of course, we can see that the hammer and the shield will be decked out in neon. But what about the other weapons? If those came in like a hot green, if you had a hot green Uzi, or if you had a hot pink 9mm or something like that, how do you feel about that? Because there's part of me that's like, that could be kind of cool, but again, I have a hard time filtering myself when it comes to neon. So it might be a little bit crazy and out there. So yeah, if anybody wants to kind of give me their thoughts and feedback on that.
I like it. I think it fits in with the the whole theme of everything there. Some people like their weapons a little more. You know what? If you like them black, grab a Sharpie and paint it black when you get it. I think go extreme. Yeah. I mean,
okay.
See, well, like for me, I'm like,
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, for me, I'm more like, I like that the melee weapons are kind of wild in color, but like guns, I like more in the kind of gray and black. But that's just me personally. So,
gotcha.
Well, maybe you mix it up too. Weapons packs are always welcome. And these things, and that's like something that I wish when Delta 17 announced that they were doing a weapons pack, I was like, yes, thank you, perfect. Because we're always losing these things, and some of them are recolored, and I like it. That's so maybe that gives you an opportunity to also like release a weapons pack where it's like, extreme weapons pack or realistic weapons pack.
Love that. Yeah. The ultimate dream would be that if this were to, really get a life and become something else, I would love to package them with some like ridiculously large spring-loaded, or something, like almost every Batman toy in the 90s had, again, from gigantic arm missile launcher.
And then so you see here, we got the Uzi, the pistol, the whatever, I don't even know what you call that thing, the chopper.
Let's call it a street sign machete.
Yeah, the street sign machete, and it looks like put together with like some pipes and spikes on it and a shield, and you have all the different type of shields. So perfect. I love that. Like every character is going to get them.
I love
that's great.
And again, back there on Whacker, Route 66 starts in Chicago. and ran to California, and so I was like, I gotta
Yeah.
pay homage to that somehow.
Speaking of California,
there you go.
Here's a reveal. And yeah, Wildfire makes sense, I guess, right? That's Rodeo Drive. You got Hollywood. You've got this guy looks wicked, man. He looks great. So yeah, I can only imagine where he's coming from, and what faction he's with. Because yeah, this looks insane. This guy's great, and the bright yellow and the red there. Yeah, he looks amazing.
Thank you.
So yeah, it looks like in the chat too. There are just some people, some people are for it. So I think you've got options there, or maybe they have two guns. Maybe you do some, or I guess where it's fitting for some characters, they would have that additional flair, and some are just, picking up regular kind of weapons and reusing them. So
I'll just say to kind of caveat my earlier statement, whatever color the weapons are, I'm still interested in getting these figures. So
not a deal breaker for you, sure.
Yeah, the weapon color, not a deal breaker.
I just feel like you could get like regular colored weapons, with every line.
Well, yeah, I've got a whole bin of just regular colored weapons if I need to swap them out. So or want to swap them out, or it may be when I see them in hand, eventually the neon weapons.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, I'm getting that vibe now. So
we'll just leave this guy up here for a second so everyone could just take that in and just kind of imagine where that's going. We've got definitely Hollywood here. We're looking at Scrapyard now. This is a weapon we haven't seen yet. I absolutely love this one with the, you've got the crankshaft with the chain on the end, and then those are brake rotors, right? Welded together. Just wicked, man. That's a wicked hammer.
He's cool. He's from the Detroit faction, so he'll he's got his very automotive themed.
Yeah. Once again, you try to lift. Was that 4 brake rotors welded together with a crankshaft? You're not swinging that thing.
It's not a wiffle bat. It's got some
luck. Good luck on that, but I love it. It's extreme. You would never be able to swing that in real life, but it'd be fun to make one of those and just let people try.
And so again, this is a place where, love that weapon, and we can probably represent that as a crankshaft, but if I were to actually try and sculpt that out, it's going to get a little wonky, So there probably will be, a support that runs up full, into that thing.
Maybe a big drive shaft or something like that, too, and then just on there, or one you could do maybe you just have like the the drive shaft into the pumpkin, the differential, and then you've got that there too, something like that. That would be kind of cool. But that's getting pretty big though. That's insane. But it looks great. I love it. I love it. And then here's one. I love this guy. As soon as I saw him, man, of course you got Ranger. This is your Texas man. All these characters must be expert welders. Listen, in the apocalypse, you pick up skills, buddy.
Exactly. You got to go back and start at the beginning. So this is one of the factions that you haven't seen yet that I'll be introducing, and it's not too far of a stretch to imagine what region he's from. But I'll reveal more in the posts about it, but he is part of the Texas faction. So
and he's got that nice Texas star on the machete there. That's another model too that we haven't seen yet, right? So in a new shield, so that's great. Love it. And
this is one of those ones that'll just end up being just a little bit bigger because of the 10-gallon hat, right? So he'll probably come at like 3.9, something like that, 3.9.
And Vex, we've got just a little, and then I love this that she's got the katana, and on the end she's got the wrench welded on there too. That's good because you know what? Yeah, everything's got to be used. So the handle broke on that. What do you got? Okay,
Yep.
well, it makes sense. I love it.
Yeah.
He should
Well,
have the
having the-
biggest gun because everything's bigger in Texas. You know what?
No.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Not wrong.
And yeah, the pistol and the Uzi right now, everyone's kind of coming with that, but that could change in the future
Right.
as you get to don't mess with Texas Shield. Okay. All right.
Okay.
So
now that you got the katana mold, or will have the katana mold once this goes into production, that kind of opens up that Japanese faction again.
Japanese.
there you go.
I like the way you think. Well,
Yeah,
and you can kind of tell too here with what she's partnered with. She has a manhole cover as a shield.
Yeah.
So she's no 98-pound weakling. She can handle herself.
I like it. I like it. This is definitely every bit, of a 90s retro line that it should be. Any thought of giving them animal sidekicks?
Oh, now that's interesting. Yeah. No, I had not thought about that, but that's.
I mean, you've got mutated humanoids. It's only, I guess, natural that some of the creatures may have mutated as well.
Right.
That's very cool.
And we may see. I'm not making any promises, but we may see a character who has some animalistic traits. Hasn't been revealed yet.
All right.
There will be one, at least.
All right. Very cool. So we've got a mech bull for Texan to ride and then pilot from inside. Kind of cool.
This is awesome.
Yeah. You could please everyone with the neon weapons. One figure could have a neon Uzi and another could have a plain black one, and the customer can mix and match. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, my thought process on it was that if somebody really wanted like silver or black, that if they got a neon pink Uzi, they could spray paint it or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Smoking
the bear
side.
Like some of
but going the other way with it, painting neon over black, I don't know. My brain doesn't work that way.
That's the end of my slides. Now, does anyone have any questions for Tim while we have him here? Because we're making good time. But
I got one quick question that's a little kind of going back to the Shogun Force. Any thought of doing like giant Shogun type mechs for the N.U.K.E.S characters to ride in?
So
like N.U.K.E style mechs. Not necessarily, with like all the like kind of pieces and parts, and they can fit in the torso or something and ride around. And
so in my mind, there are the mechs that have been built out of large dumpsters and old parts from construction equipment and stuff like that would love to get into that vehicle segment with this. And would love to produce and put that out there. So please, share this and tell everybody to sign on, because small time producer and what money I have goes into pretty much the digital files and the creation of all the images and stuff to get the production up and running. If this were to be successful and everything, then I would, like I said, I'd love to build out this N.U.K.E.verse to be something that the fans would really want.
Definitely see the question coming, but I know it's like, let's get the figures off the ground. But
that
wouldn't be me if I didn't ask about it, because over here on my channel, this is the year of the playset. We're celebrating playsets for the 1/18 scale. I'm working on a little project of mine. Nice. Seeing your line, I'm already inspired to dumpsters pushed together, makeshift scrap iron, things haphazardly welded together, making little barriers or walls, all that stuff really, kind of already, it'll be ready when the figures come out. I'll already have something mocked up and a place for them to headquarters. But
love it.
Vehicles and play sets. Everyone always wants to know, and I know it's probably everyone wants to make those, but they are two different kind of animals, right? Making figures versus making figures and play sets. But I do think that's the one thing that I would love to see more than anything is, that kind of, the figures, the figures fueled the play sets, which fueled, the vehicles. Like it all kind of was when Hasbro was doing the G.I. Joe line and Star Wars was out, you know, they all kind of fed off each other and fueled each other. So you could do that. But
yeah, well, and so again, just with notes written down and thoughts about this, from the playset standpoint, I would really love to see what happens if this line takes off and then people start creating.
Yeah.
Because I know that I'd be blown away. The advancements of 3D printing and what people are able to do with all that stuff now is just fascinating to me. I absolutely love it. And so yeah, I would love to see that. That would be kind of the step one for the inspiration, I think, to jump into the next would be to see, you know, do people love this enough? Are they responding enough to it that they're creating kind of their worlds with it?
Yeah.
And then, you know, what do I need to do next? Are they surviving just fine without my input and they just want more figures? Or, you know, do they, you know,
which I think, you know,
the vehicle thing would be one that I would definitely be in.
Oh, you could just all kinds of
the playset thing,
Mad Max vehicles, insane,
exactly, you know, right.
Stuff welded all over them. Yeah, it's awesome.
I don't know if you guys remember Tonka had was it
Steel Monsters? Yeah.
Oh
yeah. And so just take Steel Monsters and let's steroid that thing up and beautiful. Yeah, that's it.
That's it right there.
Yeah. And so yeah, would love to take all of that into consideration down the road for sure.
They would fit right in. So Scotty, good question. Thank you for adding this there. Are only American factions considered? Well, initially, yes, but we were saying in the beginning of the stream, so Canadian Moose Men or Mexican factions, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is not just a in the N.U.K.E.verse, this is not just something that's happened to the United States. This is a global thing that has changed. And so, meets Exo Squad, absolutely.
Yeah, Mad Max,
but it's all trash cans and mailboxes, newspaper vending machines and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, that would be the hope, is that, you know, not only can we expand existing teams, give like more characters from New York, we can do other factions. You know, we can do, you know, the all Alaskan team, we can do the Canadian team, we can do, you know, Great Britain. It really does. Once you crack the seal open, man, you can just take it wherever. And that's what I'd really love to do, is just keep growing this, as long as it stays fresh for everybody, you know.
And I mean, you look in old TMNT line, they love doing that cobbled together kind of vehicles and stuff, and that's great. That's definitely great vibes from the manholes. They had like manhole shields and things of that nature too. So
and I think there's some stuff from the old Toxic Crusader line too. That for sure. If not from the weapon standpoint, definitely the neon color.
Absolutely. Exo Squad is the okay.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah. You know, you saw Rangers.
Not bad.
So another quick question for you. You were talking about like doing a wave of one from each faction, then the next wave, one from each faction.
Yeah.
So how often were you thinking about doing these waves? Would it be like one Kickstarter goes, funds, fulfills, and then the next wave comes? Or
right? So it's going to be broken up in waves, right? So we have the 6 factions, which would be the 6 different characters. The 6 different tribes, or let's say factions. And then you've got 4 characters within each one. So that would break out into 4 Kickstarter goals with 6 figures.
Okay. 4 Kickstarter goals, not just 4 different Kickstarter.
Right. So wave 1 would be the initial goal, which we revealed wave 1 here, essentially what I'm thinking about for wave 1. And so we'll have that, so that you get like I said, one of each faction. Then wave 2 will have the next set of 6 from that faction, next 6, next 6. And that'll be the 24 total figures.
Oh, okay.
In the first initial
Kickstarter. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking if it was going to be like a wave per Kickstarter, that's going to take a long time.
Oh, yeah.
With like the 2-year roll.
Yeah, sure.
Now, say only like 2 waves get funded. Would there maybe be another Kickstarter later that picks up on wave 3 and carries it out? See if people are interested.
So it would really come down to what the fans are gonna want out of it.
Okay.
And if wave 1 funds and wave 2 doesn't, but there's interest more in the characters from wave 3, then maybe I shift wave 3 to be wave 2. I'm small and flexible and open enough for that kind of thing to happen.
Yeah, I would say that makes sense because some of the, I guess with Kickstarters is some of the ones that maybe had way too much, and now we're talking 4 or 5 years. You know what I mean? Where some people have said, well, maybe if they did, half as many figures, but turned that around in a quicker time, it would just kind of, because then people would have them in hands and then they would want more, and then it builds that momentum. And, rather than it's just like all or nothing, like we're either doing 25 figures or we're not doing any. I think, some people would just rather, they're like, well, can I get like half of those?
Right.
Yeah, that would be good,
Yeah. And so, and again, that's kind of the reason that, I put the asterisk by all these comments of like, well, the way it is now and how it's designed now and what we're talking about now. Because when we actually get down into it, you always see on the packaging, photo of prototype, actual,
actual product,
vary kind of thing. Right? And so that's the stage where we are. A lot of this is still, we're still very liquid at this stage. We're not, solid yet. And so, I think that was the most equitable way that I could try to get this to happen. I felt that if I would put out New York, Chicago, Detroit, that everybody would be like, well, I want the Fallen.
I'll wait until I'll wait.
Which may be a lesson for me. Maybe I just need to, change this to the Fallen and just do Fallen figures.
No, I like what you got going here.
I appreciate it.
I really like it. And
it's that kind of thing. And I say that from the point that I just really want to encourage people to, feel free to comment and give their feedback when they see our posts and stuff, because we would not be able to make this happen if it weren't for, the customers. And we want to make sure that the customers, especially at these prices, are receiving something that they really want to invest in and have interest in over the years.
Yeah. And that's the one thing I was going to say is that, the audience, I guess the people that want these things, people that say O-ring is dead or 1/18 scale is dead, and I always just go, well, we're here. I beg to differ, because there's people here and there are people coming up with these things, and it is challenging. And I'd say the reason, or, I've kind of wanted to ask all you O-ring creators, you people that have picked up the mantle, is, well, the big companies aren't making those anymore. So, the fans doing the best work, they're taking it upon themselves. So, Tim, why did you say, you've had this idea for a long time and you could have made it in a variety of different formats, but what about the O-ring, format speaks to you? What is it about O-ring that makes you want to do it despite the many arguments against it?
Sure. Well, if you have a minute, I'll tell you about my conversion. I'm a little bit older, a little bit longer in the tooth than maybe most of you guys. But I inherited a lot of plastic hair 12-inch Joes when I was a kid. And then, like, one of my first, memories of Christmas was, G.I. Joe with lifelike hair. And then the whole adventure team thing. So I'm actually more of an adventure team guy, right?
Nostalgia, like your childhood nostalgia for that adventure team.
Adventure team. Even when they got wonky with Mike Power and Bullet Man and all Eagle Eye, I was like, I like it a lot. So I think that was some inspiration for this too, that, you could do something that's in that has been defined as the GI Joe format, but you can take it, you can build, and you can reimagine it in some way. So it was a number of years later that I had picked up a couple of the is it Space Brigade? I'm sorry, GI Joe Star Space Brigade.
Star Brigade.
Yeah, Star Brigade. Some of their astronaut figures, and I was like, holy cow, these are absolutely amazing. And that was my conversion to the format. Just the GI Joe stuff hit on something, the space thing that I was absolutely 100% bought in on, and loved it. Just it really kind of became a format for me that was just really, really desirable. So I started picking up and collecting some of those, some of the other 3 3/4, not O-ring, but 3 3/4 stuff that was out during the 70s and 80s and stuff. And so, like I said, as I started to think about all the different things that I wanted Nukes to be, I wanted the neon, I wanted, to have that that play on the nuclear threat, and I wanted to have, I wanted to have that 90s dystopian cinematic thing, Dragonheart, no, Rain of Fire, not Dragonheart.
Rain of Fire.
Oh,
Fire. And like we talked about, Demolition Man and Running Man, and just Roger Corman, Death Race 2000.
Yeah.
I mean, give me the 90s cheese, right? All those things just kind of like came together, this confluence of things that I was like, if I'm going to do this, it can only make sense in this format. It can only be this could not be a 6.5 or 6-inch figure. It couldn't be a 4.5-inch figure. The format of this just felt so right to what Joe meant to that format in the 90s. That I was like, it's right here in front of me. You've been picking up and collecting it. You converted from your, diehard 12-inch Joes down to the 1/18 Joes, and it's like, I want to do this, and I want to do it right by, everybody who loves the 90s stuff and loves the O-ring stuff.
That's great. And, and I see the chat, guys. Calm down, guys. Like, here's the thing.
I think Scotty brought up a good point with Tank Girl.
Yeah, Tank Girl.
Oh, like bringing Tank Girl into Nukes.
Said something about this. The 112 movement is over and dying. That's an opinion, guys. That's a fact. And he's welcome to his opinion. And, my opinion has always been that, I'm not. Listen, I don't love 118 because I hate all other scales. I just love 118 scale. It's the one that speaks to me. And of all of the options that I have available. So when people make arguments saying, well, I love the advanced detailing or, the articulation you get with 112. Well, that's great. That's awesome for you. And, it doesn't mean both points are valid. So what I like, I don't have to justify. And I don't need people to validate why I like something. I like it because, well, when I pick it up, it makes me happy. So I like it, right? And that's
what's
really
important about any
really
toy
all it comes down to. So
does it make you happy?
And then me doing even this show on it, I'm not doing it despite your favorite scale or your preferred scale. It was just that as I was hanging out and talking to my friends about, toys and stuff like that, I noticed that not a lot of people were talking about the things that I like to talk about. I enjoy listening to and watching people enjoy the figures and toys that they like. I like watching stuff on Motu. I'm not actively collecting it, but I definitely share in your joy for it. I'm not trying to sell you on it or trying to convince you over. If you want to come on over, hey, you're more than welcome, man. The more the merrier.
Will's not trying to sell you on it, but I'm more than happy to sell you on Nukes because I want those figures. So when the Kickstarter comes up, fund that.
So I'm here not in opposition of all other scales, and my favorite scale is 118 scale, not because I dislike the other scales. It's just because I like these. And you could speculate and say that this scale's over, this scale sells more. Sure, they're all great. You know what I mean? Like what you like, man. And, but also I get good natured ribbing on people, and busting, pushing buttons and busting chops and stuff like that. But I really don't think it's anything to fight about. It's, it comes down to personal preference,
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and you grew up at a time where you had G.I. Joe as 12-inch, and you had Big Jim as 9-inch. You had
Mego was 8.
Yeah.
8, So my growing up with toys was very much the Toy Story experience. Like none of those characters
even during the 80s
are in the same scale anywhere near it.
Well, you'd get something new too, like Masters of the Universe. He-Man came out. I'd put I would like rotate too. Like I'd put my G.I. Joes in a box. I'd put them in the closet. I'd get this new thing. Brave Star came out. It was like G.I. Joe articulation on they're like 10-inch figures, and I would play with them for a while, and then but the 118 was the one that I always went back to, and it was always the one that when I picked it up, I felt the most joy, and the new O-ring figures I just think are just fantastic. I love them. That's just my preference. All of your arguments for another scale or style are valid, and you're welcome to them. I know Bob doesn't share my opinions on everything, and that's why I like them.
I mean, it's not that I don't share your opinion. I love O-ring, but I also like some of the modern stuff too. So, and like one of my childhood memories was getting a vintage Bullet Man in an auction lot. And at the time I was all like Adventure People, Micronauts, Buck Rogers. So Bullet Man just became this like giant that helped the Micronauts protect the Adventure People. And that's just how my play brain worked at that time.
There you go.
So, if you want to mix the scales, go for it. If you want just one, go for that too. If you want a cake action figure.
Well, these guys all agree. They all seem to agree that cake makes people happy. So I'm glad that the chat has all come to consensus on this.
There you go. Yeah. Well, if N.U.K.E.S ever gets to that Fortnite stage, we'll put a cake figure.
There you go. Yeah.
Right. So that's great. Yeah. So I mean, that's great. A lot of people here love all the scales. They have a passion for everything. And we could all agree scalpers suck. Sure. Yeah. I don't like having to pay more.
Definitely agree with that. Yeah.
Hey, I'll fight on the hill of 5 POA Kenner style. Sure. They have their
and that was in the conversation before we launched N.U.K.E.S. I debated that with every toy friend that I've got, trying to figure out if that was going to be something that worked.
Well, I'm glad
I don't know if you guys remember, Craig and I were talking about this one time. The Speed Racer Mach 5, was it Mach 6? Mach 6 set that they put out that had like the little 4-inch Speed Racer in there. Wow. Really, if you ever get to see that, or if you ever get the chance to pick one up, they're kind of pricey now, but so well done. So well done. And it's in that.
Was that from the live action movie?
From the movie.
Toy line or something? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Huh. And it was just really, it's sharp. I mean, the joints on there all look really smooth, but it's so articulated. It's crazy. It
really, I haven't not seen that, but I'll definitely check it out.
A 4-inch Mach 6 would be a cool addition to my O-ring. Well, hopefully it's not too big, but
no, the movie had its issues and stuff like that, but I thought Mattel did a great job. The
movie was I saw it on a plane. So, for me, it was like, oh, hey, here's a great, fun distraction for 2 hours.
Oh, I love it.
And
one of my favorites. But, the only issue I have was kind of like the continual flashback kind of thing at the very beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Just, set it and go. Just my opinion.
Yeah.
Don't come at me for that either. But,
no, it's all right. It's the internet. You could have an opinion, and there'll
somebody's
always be
come
someone.
at you,
something is your least favorite thing, and you mention it. There'll always be someone in the comments, that it's like, well, that's my favorite, and that's just the way the world works. And if it wasn't that way, everything would be exactly the same. Exactly the same format, exactly the same amount of accessories with each thing. No one would come up with anything creative or try anything different. So that's why I love it, So I will say, guys, if you are interested in it, N.U.K.E.S, I think it's wonderful. I can't wait till they're coming out. We're looking at a late September release, and more reveals coming out as the weeks follow. So we have 4 factions revealed, 2 more to come, and those will be trickled out. You also have a chance to win yourself a N.U.K.E.S t-shirt, which you can see on Tim right there. So all you got to do is follow Giant Leap Toys on social media and share the posts.
Story.
You're going to be looking at the posts anyway. Share them. Let other people know about it. Let's grow this thing organically. I'm sold on them. I can't wait to see
Even Crash is sold on N.U.K.E.S.
Even Crash is sold on them. Look at that. And
Crash.
Yeah.
That's a hell of an endorsement right there.
Yeah, and Goji right there, Facebook.com Giant Leap Toys. Yep. And
they're also on Instagram.
And guys, you also, it's not too late. They could still go to zykatoys.com direct, and you can order. There's a couple things available there, but you've got the Eagle 1976. You could pre-order that, right? They have the Mattel version, and then there's also a there's 2 versions.
We have a standard version.
Astronaut 4-pack.
Yeah, and we have a standard version, a Mattel variant, which has the same color markings as the Mattel playset back in 1976, and then we have the Dinky variant that will have the metallic.
There it is.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is. Yeah. So I just wanted to show that. They also partnered with Ramen Toys to do the Misery Machine, which is 112 scale, right? Nice. Yeah.
Yep.
That's excellent. So yeah, there it is. But you could still pre-order.
And
so
O-ring astronauts with that, and then we're selling a separate O-ring astronaut 4-pack. There you go.
Yeah,
there you go. There's the O-ring astronaut 4-pack. Beautifully done. And that includes a stun gun, comm lock, accessory piece. Prototypes are shown. So when are we expecting these guys, by the way?
So we will be getting our 3rd pre-production sample here at the end of the month. And if everything checks out on that, then we'll go into production. So we're probably looking at least, I'm going to say mid-August before we get production going.
Okay.
Great. So
I will say, there's just
moving at that kind of pace. I'm going to say that we're going to be probably pushing the end of the year before we get, but hopefully things will speed along and we'll get it. We were originally shooting for a September ship because that's the month of the 50th anniversary of Space 1999. But unfortunately, back and forth with the factory.
I was going to say, if you want to support, Zyka Toys right now too, they've got this Eagle Force Retro Riot Commando O-ring figure.
That's a really solid figure.
Yeah, it's only $15.
So
and they're going to sell out eventually, but I've got a couple. I ordered them, I think, when they were more than that, when they first came out. But it's a wonderfully done figure, and I got to say, if you're an O-ring fan, man, you should just snatch one of these up now. But yeah, I can't say how much I love that figure enough. And once again, you could go check all these out here. I'll stop sharing and we'll come back in here. Wraith Mace, how's it going, buddy?
So one other question about N.U.K.E.S that just hit me.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're going to have a foot peg hole, right?
Yes.
In the figures. And is that going to be like the standard Joe battle stand sized hole or a different size?
Yeah. But whether I keep debating on whether I want that stand to be just a regular stand or if I want it to,
the design of the stand.
Yeah. Have some
use totally. I'm just saying
that'll be universal
itself. Yeah. Okay, cool.
That'll be universal.
Because there's some O-ring figures that have come out in this Renaissance that they don't. It's like hard to find a battle stand for them. So
they use a different hole. Yeah. So I guess it would be convenient if they fit with the in with your old
if you have like a universal size, like I really like the battle stands that Grindstone put out that are like clear.
Yeah.
And they've got that standard size peg.
I got you.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Tim, I didn't see any backpacks.
So as of right now, the weaponry and the armament is really kind of,
and those are kind of chunky, so I know they kind of take up that space there.
And so there's going to be a lot that goes into the deco.
The shields too. Everyone, and those decal, the decals are.
Yeah.
Plus, you got the shield with almost every figure. It's very Secret Wars, very like 80s, kind of thing. That's cool. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So it was really where do I want to put the resources? And so instead of a backpack that is on the back of the figure, if you've got it displayed on the shelf, then you've got a weapon, you've got a shield, all forward facing and stuff like that. So eBerry Studios, that's doing the digital sculpts for me, very happy to have just a very standard generic back, because they're putting a lot of detail and work into the.
There is a lot of detail in those sculpts, and I think that's something that we could really appreciate as well. And I was looking at your renders and going, oh yeah, each sign has lettering on it, and it's a different color. A lot of paintwork going in there. So. Very cool. All right, guys, that's all I've got. Tim, if you have anything else that you wanted to share, was there anything we didn't cover that you wanted to talk about today?
No, I think we've covered it all. Just thank you again so much. I appreciate you guys having me on.
And I was going to say, since we've got more reveals to come out, and we've got a bit of time, so it's July right now. We've got a couple months before your launch. If you want to stop back in before or leading up to launch, we could celebrate that as well. I'd love to have you back and talk, or if you want to just come back and talk about anything else toy wise, I'd love to talk to you again.
Sure.
Thank you everyone in the chat for your questions and your feedback. I really appreciate that. Everyone watching on the replay, leave a comment and questions for Tim too, if you have questions, concerns, or anything like that about the line. But be sure to follow him on social media.
Follow him on Instagram and just shoot him a message.
Yep.
But with that, I think that's it for this afternoon. Thank you all so very much. Have a great week, and I'll see you guys next Sunday. Talk to you soon.
Take it easy,
Thanks, everyone.